this photo essay. I did a little PowerPoint so I could make sure I could board everybody.
Yeah, let's do it, Dal. You're on.
And then what I really want to do is show the winners from last year and ask you to talk about what you did and why you did it. So I'll make this short. Maybe we put it online, Sean, so people can share it later.
Sure.
All right. Let me see. Start slideshow. Can you see that all right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's good.
Okay, good. So the deadlines for this this year's event are March 9th by midnight to turn yours in. And then the presentation will be the next Wednesday on March 16th. And that's when, in between, the judge will be able to look at the work and then we'll do a presentation. And again, this year there's no print competition thanks to COVID. So save your posters or your photo books that you made. Quick rules: 1 entry per person. Maximum length is 8 minutes. And if you go 8 minutes, you should have your head examined. The preferred length is 3 to 5 minutes. And I'll talk about maximum dimensions, 1920 by 1080, which is high definition. Most of these are all saved as video files, not as photo files. You should use your own images, but you can use 10% of images from elsewhere. Last year, I did a thing about the pandemic, and they wouldn't let me take a picture of me getting the jab with my cell phone. They were so, New York State, they're, anyway, enough of that. So I got a video off of Pond 5 of the somebody getting their shot. Anyway, you need to know the rules. You can get it in sooner, the better. A lot of times there are hardware issues and that sort of thing. So I'll talk about that. These things all save in whatever software you're using as video files. So that's a little different than a photo file. There are 2 types that basically we should use: full HD, which is 1920 by 1080, or HD, which is 1280 by 720. 1920 by 1080 is the best. That it means it's going to have 149 megabytes per minute. Last year, somebody submitted one that was in it must have been 6 gigabytes or something. It took me forever to download that thing. So keep it within reason.
Was it me? Was it me?
No, it wasn't you. You have been guilty in the past, but not this year. It was somebody else. And no 4K. 4K is wonderful, but we don't need it. It's going to be either a .mov file if you're on a Mac, or an MP4 file if you're on a Windows-based machine. And you send it to me by my email address, and use a large file app such as Google Drive, which I prefer, Dropbox, or File Mail for Mac, and there's a bunch of other of these large file transfer programs. Google Drive's pretty easy, and it's the one we use to play back the So what is a photo essay? It's a passion, it's what you love to take pictures of, what you love to do. A collection of photographs are tied together by some theme or message. We all remember the Life magazine used to be the home of these things. The most famous one ever was done for Life magazine by W. Eugene Smith, his Country Doctor. You want to look that up. And if you don't know what Life magazine is, you can probably ask your mom, and she'll have a stack of them in the basement, along with National Geographics, which also do. did photo essays and still do. So anyway, can be on same subjects. We've had flowers, pets, we've had a baby, models, old cars, models and in persons, events. We've had, I don't think we've had a parade or protest, fundraiser, flood, snowstorm. Those are just some of the ideas. Location, there are a couple of you who like to hang around Empire Plaza, which, you know, when you get arrested, we'll try to bail you out. Some people like to hang around Lark Street. Some people like to hang around New York City, although I don't think they've been there for a long time. We had one last year on Lake Champlain. Sometimes it can be photo work, macros, colors, shadows, you know, all kinds of stuff can be photo essays. And a lot of them, like the original Life magazines, illustrated a problem, provided a resolution. You can do a profile in the day of the life of somebody. You can do a photojournalism essay on a current issue. I did one last year on the pandemic. So all kinds of subjects. If you go online, you're going to just find all kinds of suggestions about what you can do if you just Google photo essays. But I think the best ones kind of tell a story. They have a theme and they have a beginning. In video, we call that an establisher, but someplace where you kind of set the mood and start the story going. Show what you're going to go and see and feel. I've used time lapse in the past. We had David Wells, not the baseball player, but David Wells, the photographer, who I took a class from at the main media workshop. And he starts a lot of his work with time lapse. And he shoots with Olympus. So he does video with the Olympus cameras and does time lapse. The middle of the essay ought to show kind of the main story, deliver on the beginning. You know, you sort of show us what you're, the establisher shows what we're going to see, and then you got to show it to them. Every time when I used to teach military students at Syracuse, their establisher was usually a tank in front of a National Guard armory. That would be their idea of an exciting establishment. Hopefully something a little more interesting. And at the end, you want to bring it to a satisfactory close. Either resolve the issue, or, you know, like you do a marathon and you show the person coming across the finish line. And then sometimes you'll do what happens next. What's the next part of this? Successful photo essays, keep it reasonably short. I'd keep it to 3:30 or 4 minutes. You got to be tough-minded. One of the ones that we've had in the last couple of years, clearly the person doing it couldn't come to grips with taking out photos that they really loved. But the thing was way too long and the photos strayed off the theme. So you got to be really, you know, what we used to say in the trade was, you know, you got to kill your babies, which is kind of cruel. But if they don't, and I used to say when I'm teaching writing, if a word, and particularly in broadcast writing where you only have very little time to tell a story, if the word doesn't earn its place in the story, get rid of it. So you really got to be tough-minded. The pace kind of has to match the theme of the story. If it's slow, you know, it's going to be emotional. The shot's going to last a little longer. The music's going to be a little different. The cutting's going to be a little different. If it's fun, you're going to cut it fast. You know, so instead of 4-second shots, you're going to use 2-second shots or a series of shots. And then transitions, and this is really important. A lot of people don't do transitions very well. But the best transition, there are 2 transitions that you should use. Cuts, and cuts are for faster, better paced stories. Dissolves or fades are slow and play to emotion. And if you get too heavy duty transitions, like page wipes and all these other weird things, they really can get in the way because they destroy the emotion, the pace of the piece. The other thing you need to think about is Ken Burn effects. Ken Burns effects is where you zoom in or zoom out, and that's really can be way overused. So plan out, think about your establisher. We used to have Bob Dotson from NBC would come to our classes because he's a Syracuse grad. And he always used to say the first thing he looked at when he got to the story was for the closing shot. How do you end this? Overshoot, get more than you need. I've got a couple of things I'm working on and I don't have enough. So, it can be really frustrating if you don't have enough photos. And editing, leave plenty of time. For editing, this is always a bit of an issue. I use Final Cut Pro. In the past, I've used Adobe Premiere Pro, but I would not recommend those to anyone in the club. They are high-end professional photo editing or video editing software, and they're pretty complicated. Most operating systems, Mac and Windows, come with built-in video editors. iMovie on Mac, and cleverly, it's called Video Editor on Windows 10. Really good marketing. Those are pretty simple. They're pretty straightforward, easy to do a photo essay on them. You can mix the music right into them. It works very well. DaVinci Resolve is free. It's a video editing software. So you could try that. I've never used it, but I think it's supposed to be pretty good. It's in between like an iMovie and a Final Cut Pro, so it's a little different. Any of these, there are plenty of online tutorials. They're all over the place. And Lightroom, both on Windows and Macs, has a photo essay slideshow module, and it doesn't work real well. You can put music with it and you can do some things with it, but it's not ready for prime time, and I think it'll drive you nuts. So I would not use it, but it's there in case you want to do a slideshow. What I'd recommend for most people is Photo Magico for Mac. I've used it. It works very well. It's very easy to use. Linda uses it, I think. ProShow Gold used to be the favorite for Windows users, but it's no longer supported, or I've been abandoned by its manufacturer. It still can work. If you run into problems, you may have no place to go. There's a new one out called Movovi, say that quick, Movovi Slideshow Maker. And it comes for Windows and Mac, and it advertises itself as a replacement for ProShow Gold. So that may be something you want to look at. Music. Music really makes these things work. Yeah, you can do one without music, but music really helps, as most of you know from what you've done. It sets the mood for the essay. Upbeat music for action, slow or soft or emotion. The music determines kind of the pacing of the piece, because you really should try to match the edits to the beat. And does the story match the music? I've seen a couple over the years that are really good photos, wonderful photos, but the music was often spaced somewhere and did not match the story. And unfortunately, that would cost the maker a good award. Then there's the big issue of copyright, and this has become an issue since we're online now, and we're putting these things on YouTube. In the past, people would bring their or submit their work, and I just load it up and we play it in the church hall. But you should really copyright your own work. You know, add a symbol in a year, a watermark, and if you're really serious, you need to register your own photos. Copyright. You know, you really can't use somebody else's photos. The music is a real copyright problem. Both there's performance, there's song copyrights, and there's performance copyrights. So even if a song or a piece of music is kind of in the public domain, a performance could be copyrighted. So if you're going to use public domain work, you really got to make sure there's no problems with the performance. The answer to this is, and this is a problem now going out over the internet, particularly like if you're on YouTube and you use music that is copyrighted, YouTube will take it down in a nanosecond. You know, and so you don't want to have that happen. Or you could wind up getting sued like Sean does occasionally for his work on our website, or at least threatened with legal trolls.
Yeah, from Germany.
From Germany. Tell them to come on over and sue us. Anyway, buy music is probably the easiest answer. I use Pond 5, and they, you know, there's a whole host of these things that sell you music, and supposedly it's going to be free to use. I like Pond 5 because if I've got something like COVID pandemic music, I just put that in the search and they bring up music appropriate to pandemics, you know. So it makes it very easy to find music. There's another one that used to be recommended by Kelby called Triple Scoop. Incidentally, Pond 5, they will, you can also buy video clips off them. Last year, when I did the pandemic thing, I got a video clip, a little like 10-second video clip off of Pond 5 for a couple bucks of somebody getting a shot in their arm. So I used that as my closing shot, and that came off Pond 5. There are a whole host of these things. I've heard one today called Epidemic Sound. So just go look for where you can buy music, and you know, hopefully they'll be there. But Pond 5, Triple Scoop, they're both fine. Or you can go on Creative Commons and find free music, or music you can pay for. But just Google Creative Commons music. And there's some of them that you can use with credit. Before I got summarily dismissed, but from doing those baking videos, we were using something called Ben Sound, and it's a website, and all you have to do is give Ben Sound a credit at the end of your video, so, or your photo essay. So you just have to create one at the end. So that's free and legal. So now that I bored you to death, I wanted to look at what we did last year. Whoops. Go backwards. These are the winners from this past year. And what I like to do from last, when was it? March, I guess. I would like to, what I like to do is go into Google Drive and
Now, before you start, Janice asked, is there a minimum amount of time it should last?
no minimum. That's a good question, but there really isn't any minimum. There's a price to pay if you go too long, because it really can get pretty boring. So these are the ones from this last year. And let me go to File Share. And the first one I want to share is Joe's. Joe, do you want to say anything about this? It's not a conventional photos, it's really about artwork. Anything you want to comment about before you? Still there, Joe?
You have to unmute.
Yeah, unmute, Joe.
I'm talking away on mute here. It doesn't do very much good.
No.
Yeah, let me give a little intro to it. Like
Hold-
you
wait
said,
for it.
Dow, a photo essay, you can tell a story or it can explore a theme. And this one does not tell a story at all. It explores a theme. I've been experimenting with what I like to call photographic digital art a year or so ago. And so I decided to make a collection of that and show it. And as you watch the video, as Dow said, look for the music being timed with the changing of the photos. I tried to do that, but I think for the most part I did it.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah, and then also watch for the transitions from one photo to the next. Some are very similar photos that kind of blend into the next one to the next.
Okay, you see all that? Everybody see that?
Yep.
Joe, what program did you use?
There was a Windows program that I just bought off the Windows store. It was like $5 or something. It was pretty easy to use.
Good. Hear that all right?
It's okay. The sound's not doing very well there, Dow.
I've got the sound on this all the way up.
No, it's like coming in and out.
Yeah, it's not working.
What did we do last time? We struggled last time, and then we finally got it to work. I don't remember what we did though.
Remember, Sean? When we did this before,
Let me take a look here.
Linda and I experimented with it and it worked just fine. So I'm not sure why it's going in and out.
I don't know.
Let me, hold on, give me 1 second here.
Maybe you got too much stuff open.
Oh, well, that could be.
Your
Could be the bandwidth. Might not have the bandwidth.
PowerPoint's still open. Yeah.
I
Why
just,
don't you just hum along with it, Joe?
You don't want to hear me sing.
let's see.
There's a setting, I can't figure out where it is.
No,
No, it's not working.
no.
Any ideas?
Joe,
Well,
Joe, can you show it?
I can. I have it here. We can try it that way. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
let's
it'll be
try
any
it on
better.
yours. Yeah.
Let's see where is it?
you need to share here. Hold on a second.
Yeah, give me permission to share it, and I'll share my screen here. Whoop! It started playing already. Don't do that.
Here you go. You know I co-host.
Whoops. Trying to get it opened here.
There you go.
All right, let me share my screen here. Okay, share screen. Which one I want? This one here. Screen 2, share. Right, do you see it's down. Where'd it go? Okay, do you see the title page there?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
see fine.
I'll try playing it now.
No, we can't hear
See,
No
it's-
sound? No sound?
No
No sound at all.
Ah, okay, that's not gonna work.
Hold on, I'm trying.
it. Got the little sound thing at the bottom there.
Check that. Yeah, check that if it's, yeah.
It's
it's-
on.
I could hear it here. I could hear
Oh.
it here fine.
And it has to have something to do with Zoom.
Yeah,
There's just, put the microphone, same system.
let's see. Here, sharing chat. Out of the way there. Stop video, mute. Mute's not on, is it? No. Microphone array. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah.
My menu?
No,
No.
Sean, if you have any suggestions on what to click, let me know.
I'm looking at my settings here.
How about built-in output, internal speakers? Go to the mute button and then bring up that, select a speaker.
Click the speaker. Yeah, the monitor does not have a speaker, so I can't pick. This is the only one I can pick. Test speaker. Okay, I that test passed on my end, so. Just to phone audio.
What's-
Audio settings, what's in there?
Audio settings,
Test speaker, test mic.
Yeah, I just tested the speaker.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can hear it.
Yeah, it's playing. I can hear it. It's playing.
Yeah, so it shouldn't have anything to do with this.
Suppress background noise.
Wait a minute.
John, is there anything you can do with the video? Maybe cut back on the resolution so we have more bandwidth for audio?
No, it's all based on who's sharing. Let me see here.
Oh, here we go. Why can't my Zoom participants hear my music?
And there you go. Searching them.
That doesn't help.
Uh,
Want that.
Okay, here we go. Found something here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it's in the share. In your share options. Stop sharing for a minute.
Stop share.
Yeah, stop sharing for a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to share here. What was it? And share options.
It might be something with my setup here because I tried an experiment yesterday where I set up a Zoom meeting and I shared from my PC to my iPad. My iPad didn't get any sound. But I thought it might have been because I was logged in both places. And it got
Okay.
confused.
I'm going to share this screen. Can you see this?
no,
No, not yet.
All right, you can't, it doesn't show. All right, never mind that. When you share when you click on the share screen dialog,
Okay.
your button, at the
Yep.
bottom of it, it says share
Share
sound,
sound. Oh. okay.
optimized for video clip. Click both of those.
Ah, there. That sounds familiar, Sean. I think we did
Yep.
that last time.
Yes. So you can go now.
2. All right. Share. All right. Let's try this now.
there we go.
Much better.
Now I know the secret. Okay, that's it. Dow, you're muted.
Nice, Joe.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, that was beautifully done and great artwork. I mean, it really is amazing. A couple of things I really liked about it was that you edited to the music and you used different transitions based on the music, which I thought was very clever. You know, when it was a soft transition, the music was soft, and when there was a hard cut, you used in the music. There was kind of
Yeah.
a hard note, and it really worked and made the whole thing,
Yeah.
you know, really excellent. I guess the only complaint I would have is I'd move that personal statement either to the end or to the beginning.
Yeah, that was the same comment that the judge had.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
The-
kind of broke it up. It was going
Yeah,
so well, and all of a sudden there's this, and then you go back.
Yeah,
But, you know, it may have been better in the beginning. I don't know. Because
Yeah.
it's a statement, an artist statement, really.
Right.
Yeah. the beginning or end, I think, would have been better.
Yeah.
The other thing that the judge didn't like, and I'm not sure I agree with this one, was I had mixed color and black and white photos. She didn't mind the transitions from color to black to a mix, but when I had a color photo and a black and white photo and a color photo, for some reason she didn't like that. I don't know if that was just her.
Yeah. It's probably just her because I didn't.
Yeah.
The thing
I
I
don't.
don't think you did, I thought was really amazing is the way you faded from color to color to color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
How did you do that?
That well, I did with layers in Photoshop, right? I had the color
Uh-huh.
picture, then I changed it to black and white, and then I did 2 layers and I just blended them
Okay.
with opacity. I think I
But
had
then
a
how did
normal.
you get it into the video, into the slideshow.
Oh, it was just the dissolve
Okay.
transition. The
Oh,
dissolve
between-
transition. Yeah,
So you save the different flattened versions.
yeah,
of the
yeah. There
song.
were three different photos, and I dissolved in between each one. And you can change the length of how long you dissolve.
Yeah.
So it got to be pretty smooth there.
Yeah, that was really well done.
Yeah, I had fun with that. I watched every once in a while just to entertain myself. Any comments or questions from folks?
Yeah.
I don't see any. No.
Okay.
The next one is Rich. You want to unmute yourself? Do you want to show yours, or let me see if I can figure out how to show this finally?
Yeah, just gotta make sure you check those 2 boxes at the bottom.
What were they?
To optimize for video clip and
It's on the screen where you
very
pick
bottom of the share when you first click up the share screen.
Yeah, where you pick the screen you want to share, right on the bottom left of that.
Okay. Now where is that? Well, I'm not in share yet. Let me go into share. The bottom left of the mute thing.
No, when
Oh.
you click on share screen and once you select what screen you want to share,
Yeah.
at the very bottom of that dialog on the left-hand side are 2 check boxes. Check them both.
Advanced sharing options.
No.
Are you on the screen where you can pick which screen you want to share?
No, not yet.
Okay, you got to get there first.
Okay.
So click share screen
Okay.
or screen sharing, and then you go to that page.
All right. Oh, I see. Share sound and optimize video. I never saw those.
Yeah, those are the ones.
I hadn't seen those before. Thank you. Here we go. Can you see that all right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations. Very good, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice, Rich.
Obviously, I'm a street shooter, so.
You got all over town, I noticed.
It was primarily Lark, a little bit on Central. The hand
Yeah.
shot was on Central, I think, around that area. Because I mean, that's the liveliest part, and that's the liveliest street in this area. So I go there a lot, as you all know. You know, I just have a different approach to photography. I'm not into landscape or a lot of architectural stuff, but I love the idea that if I capture a scene that I like, and I think I had said earlier today to some friends that I've moved from having 99.5% of my stuff being crap to about 98%. So that's a market improvement for me. But you know, if I go out and I'll take 400 or 500 shots, if I can come out of there with one shot, I am very happy. But I take a lot of these photos while I'm moving, and I'm trying to be as just as unobtrusive as possible when I take it. Periodically, I'll get somebody stare right at me when I do it, so I consider that a bonus. I never stop. I never chat them up. I always act like I'm shooting something else when they, you know, when people, you know, when I see a scene. And sometimes what I've learned to do of late is to slow down a lot more. And if I can see something developing, or if I see a nice background, wait for somebody to walk into the scene. So yeah, that's what I do.
Good.
I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, Rich, but your last shot with the end on the back of the guy's pants.
Oh yeah, well,
That was pretty funny.
that's why it was there. I find
That's
a
your
lot
closer.
of humor. I find a lot of humor in my photography. I just enjoy it. The one shot that nobody has mentioned yet, but of the two dogs each lifting their leg
Yeah.
on a different
That was
pose,
a funny one too.
I call that the pissing contest. So yeah, I love to get shots like that. But
I think the thing with the program that you use, I know with mine, when I'm doing the Ken Burns effect, I can zoom in to any area of the image. It doesn't have to just be straight. And I think that was one of the judge's comments about, you know, that like with the two dogs, you had one on this side of the street, one on that side, and then you're zooming into an empty street. So I don't know if you're able to do that differently with the program that you use.
I'm using Photo Magico, so I think I can. I
should be able to target somebody when you set it up. So
the problem with that shot that Linda mentioned is the dogs are so far apart. You know, and you want to keep them both in it as long as you can. But
the other thing that you can do, all of your Ken Burns effects, I think, were push-ins.
Yeah.
You know, and you can vary it up by
pulling out.
Do a pull out, and sometimes just throw in a still. You know, just no motion at all. If it doesn't, like the two dogs probably didn't need any motion because it was hard to figure out at first what's going on there.
And there was a great shot of this little girl dancing at the Empire State Plaza. And what I realized is I should have just let that sit for a while because the whole photo was really the shot.
So you don't always need to use the Ken Burns effect. And I think that's what you get as you do this, you start to realize, it's got its limitations.
Absolutely.
So I hope Ken Burns is getting money off all this.
I don't think he needs it.
I think he'd be a even richer guy if that was true. But I limit how much Ken Burns I use because
I do too.
It can become too much. But in the street work, I think particularly though, you need to kind of, because these scenes you can't control.
Right.
So it really works to push in on something you want to highlight or pull back from something you highlight. To set up the overall scene. So, you know, with Ken Burns, you can also, go.
What did you do?
left to right.
horizontal
Yeah,
or
yeah.
vertical moves that can enhance your photos.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that thing does. Any other comments? Any? Very interesting. I'm glad you still haven't gotten punched out. So
No, but I put myself out there a lot. It'll eventually happen.
we should need to take up an insurance collection for you.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Sean's is the next one. And anything you want to say? Was this a brand new drone you just got, Sean?
I've had it for a little while, but it was the first, it was during the pandemic, began during the summer, last year, and pandemic was in full swing, and I just, I had to find something to do. So avoid crowds. I went and took my drone out and shot me a few of the local Erie Canal locks. So, and it was before I had my drone license. So if after you watch it, I'll tell you some of the things I did that I should have done.
Okay. Wait a second. I should have gone back here. So what I need to do is to go in here. Wait a second. I need to do this before I share.
Right.
So let's see.
Ah,
Whoops. Oh, hell. So I need to open it. Stop it. Go to screen share. Share sound. Oh, it since I set it up, it already has it there.
We were 40 miles from Albany, forget it, I never shall. What a terrible storm we had one night on the Erie Canal. Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. We were loaded down with barley, we were chocked up full of rye. And the captain, he looked down at me with his cauldron wicked eye. Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. 2 days out from Syracuse, the vessel struck a shoal. We like to all be foundered on chunk-a-lack on a coal. Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. We hollered to the captain on the towpath treading dirt. He jumped on board and stopped the leak with his old red flannel shirt. Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. The cook, she was a grand old gal, 6 foot in her socks. She had a foot like an elephant and her breath would open locks. Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. The wind begins to whistle, the waves begin to roll. We had to reef our royals on that raging old canal. Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. The cook came to our rescue, she had a ragged dress, so we hoisted her upon a pole as a signal of distress. Oh, the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. When we got to Syracuse, off mule he was dead. The 9 mule got blind staggers, so we cracked him on the head. Oh, the air was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo. Now the cook is in the police gazette and the captain went to jail. And I'm the only son of a sea cook left to tell the tale. Oh, the air was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo. Get to Buffalo.
Nice closing shot.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't too many. I have another video that's basically of only one lock. And one of the things I was that last shot, the boat, that was from that shoot. And if you see the whole thing, the boat, actually I'm looking down and then the boat goes underneath me and I follow it out. Well, that's a violation. You know, you're not supposed to fly over boats or moving boats or cars. And I have a few of those. So yeah, that was before I studied for my Part 107 and learned, you know, the things you shouldn't do. But luckily,
I think what was so great about this was that, you know, we got to see views that we just wouldn't be able to see otherwise without the drone. And that's what's so spectacular about it.
Yeah, not all of them were drone shots, but some of them were
Right.
photography.
But a lot were. But even the ones that weren't, they were all really well done and well placed. It was really, really well done.
I like the fact you mixed up the drone shots with some stuff from the.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that didn't totally rely on the drone.
Right.
And the music was a great match to the subject.
Absolutely. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I would think if you had to edit to that music for a while, it'd drive you nuts.
Oh yeah. I don't think it's hard to edit to that music anyway because it's just the beat is not really conducive for transitions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it would become an earworm after a while.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
believe me, it was for a while.
I think the only comment I would have that negative would be, I'm not sure I would use both the wipes that you use to bring in the stills and the Ken Burns push in at the same time. I would have either relied on Ken Burns and then the straight cut transition, or I would have used the slide in transition. I think two of them there was that visually put a lot going on.
Yeah.
In addition to really excellent photographs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
So anyway,
Thank you. Better than my previous works where you had a lot of different transitions.
yeah. No, yeah, that the interesting transition worked well for photos.
Mhm.
You know, for still photos to see them slide in like that, it's a little bit like a photo album or something.
Mhm. Yeah.
I wouldn't have used the Ken Burns thing because you didn't need that. Anyway, that was the only real negative I thought.
Premiere Pro makes it too easy to do things.
That is one of the problems.
Yep, too many swipes and twists.
Why they put all those transitions in is beyond me. I mean,
They
it's
all
like
have a purpose.
it's an invitation to make something garbled.
I know. Idea is to pick a transition and stay with that.
Yeah. Don't go experimenting.
It's we used to say about fonts. People would use fonts
Mhm,
because you
right.
have so many available, and all the stuff I would get started to look like ransom notes.
Like websites like that, too, websites with all these flashing things and
Yeah.
you know, gifts and stuff. Oh my God, it was terrible.
There is a font, I think, that's called Ransom or something
Oh,
like
is
that.
it?
Yeah.
It looks like you cut it out of a newspaper
yeah.
and magazines. Yeah.
And then, excellent job, Sean. Our winner this year was Linda. And hers is a wonderful example of how she kind of created a story out of nothing, but a whim or a need to go someplace.
Right.
So,
You have to let me share.
okay, go ahead. You do the share.
No, it's disabled.
Oh, hold on. I can fix that.
No, and I got to see where those things ought to click because I never did that before.
There you go, share.
Okay. Okay, share sound, optimize video clip. So this will give you, this is what the Photo Magico program looks like. And all my, there are different views that you can, right now it's in timeline, but if you do storyboard, you can see here are all my images. And if you do timeline, then you can see here's the music, and some are, you know, stacked. They were like different things with the text. Some of these are text, some of these are photos. But, you know, the challenge really is, for me, is always timing it. I spend so much time trying to get the transitions to go with the music. But this photo essay really wasn't what I had planned to do. And, you know, I was spent most of COVID watching all kinds of webinars, and I was inspired by Sarah Marino. She does, you know, intimate landscapes, and then Mark Bowie was posting photos that he took of snow scenes in the sun. And I'm saying, I was inspired by both of those. So I went out with my camera and I shot at this little park, which I actually found through my navigation system with Steinmetz. I never even knew it existed. So when I got back and I edited all of these images, I said, that's my photo essay. So now I have to go back and tell the story. And the story was really who inspired me and how I found it, and then putting the images together. And that's how it came about. So I think I can play full. So I assume everybody can see this, play full screen.
Yeah, great. That's really terrific.
Thank you.
Stuyvesant is only like a few blocks from me.
Well,
I think
you sat nav and then you could have found it.
the message is that everybody has photo essays on their hard drives. Because I mean, every time I go out and I post a lot of photos because, my family, I don't see them and, they look for them and what have you. So when I go out, I usually post albums on Facebook. And almost every one of those albums can become a photo essay. It's just how you put it together. And they don't necessarily have to be in the order that you took them. You can move them around and make them work better as an essay. But, I really love doing it. And, it's so much fun. And plus then you have it, whether you win, lose or draw, you've got this photo, like Joe says, I watch mine, and it gives me pleasure. So, I've done them about the volunteering for the dogs. And, I did one when my dearest friend passed away. I did a half an hour slideshow of, for his celebration of his life. And, I'll watch that and a lot. But you do it for yourself and then you share it with others.
Yeah, it was terrific. A couple technical things I thought were really well done. You really cut to the music and you found music that really worked. And
That was
had a
hard.
nice pace and a rhythm to go with the kind of stark winter scenes. It was nice, simple. It was like simple photographs and simple music, and it really worked together. And you used a lot of crossfades, where you went to black, but then in other places you did dissolves from
Right.
one photo to another. But some you use the crossfades where you go to black briefly between. So you really created a pace to this, a pace that matched the music and the slide and the photos. Really made it work. As pretty exceptional, I think.
The music is a challenge because I mean, if those of you who know me and have seen my essays, I've always used, popular songs, and I've used the songs and they inspire me, and it works with the images that I'm showing. So when we got our little decision about not using copyrighted music, I found it very challenging to do it. So this was my first one where I really did that, and it took a while to find stuff that worked. And like you said, this was a website where you could, as long as you gave credit, you didn't have to pay for the rights. And I gave credit right up front.
Linda, a couple of times you mentioned that it was a bit of a challenge. Can you tell us a little bit about how you searched for that music?
Oh gosh, I guess I just kept listening to stuff, and I'd listen and listen, will this work or this one? I think I used two different ones too. I used one for the intro and then I changed once the journey began, or whatever I said, the discovery began. So I used two different ones and it was the same maker. So they kind of complemented each other. But yeah, I just kept listening. I mean, and that's what I used to do, even when I used copyrighted music. I mean, sometimes like you would use John Williams, you would use an instrumental and, an orchestration, and does it work or doesn't it work? And it would just, just keep listening, and does it work or doesn't it work? It is a challenge, and I spend a lot. I think I spend so much time. I have that music in my head like day and night, because I'm spending so much time trying to time it, exactly right. And there are some that aren't so perfect, and like the music had that big pause in it. There was that 2 seconds where it had a pause, and like what do you do? I can't change the music. But yeah, I just enjoy doing it, and I wish more people would do it. And I think once you do, you'll enjoy it too. You really will.
Yeah, the combination of that music and the photos gives you a very peaceful feeling as you're looking through it. It's like very calming.
Thank you.
Yeah, when I did my pandemic one, and I used music I found on Plan 5, and I put in something about COVID or pandemic music, and I got some music I listened to. And my son, who's a professor of music made fun of my, so he said, "Dad, couldn't you be more creative? It's all this low-key piano music that goes with every piece you see about COVID." You know, I
Right.
said, I'm not that creative. I should ask him for help to find me stuff.
You used 76 trombones. Oh, happy.
Anything else?
Well, curious if
Uh,
anybody else out there is, that hasn't participated, has any questions,
Yeah.
that hasn't done a photo essay before.
Well, I do have one note. Back when I did one of my first essays was on the demolition of the ball stadium over by the airport, baseball stadium.
Yeah, the Albany Colony.
I was
Yankees.
working next door, and then I would go there every day, and as they were demolishing it, and I was taking pictures, and so it was sort of depressing to watch, being torn apart and everything. So I was trying to be juxtaposition and offset it by putting in happy baseball music on top of that. And while I thought it was a good idea, the judge just did not get it. Be careful when you try to be creative or outside the box, because unless the judge has a little more information on what you're going for there, they might you might not understand what you're doing.
Yeah, but you know what Joe said earlier, he likes to look at it and reviews it periodically, and that's if you're doing it for the judges, you well know this,
Right.
Sean. You just
Yeah.
you don't
I'm
do
gonna go back and revisit that one. Hey,
Yeah.
before we go any further, can I try something here? I want to try something that's going to relate back to the competitions. I'm gonna stop. Could you stop screen sharing for a second there, Doug? I remember. Yeah. Okay. I'm always curious if I can turn off my video and still screen share.
What? Sean disappeared.
Oh, I guess I can.
You
You
can,
can.
Sean.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
That's your mugshot from,
is that-
No, that's actually, actually what that is a, I have a whole box of tins.
Oh my gosh.
And I was scanning them in and I was trying to fix them up. And I'm gonna go back, and I was just playing around with some of them. I'm gonna go back and try to fix these up and make them look nicer. Because there's some really old, they're probably like turn of the century. My
How
God,
are you gonna fix the bullet holes in his shoulder?
I don't
Yeah, right.
know. But
I think kind of gives it character though.
Yeah,
yeah,
I thought it was a Clyde
there's
Barrow.
other ones like that one.
where'd
my
you get these,
God.
Sean?
Oh, they're cool.
Yeah, they are. My Michelle's father gave them to me. He had a whole box of these, so I don't know where he got them. But I have no idea. So these are the original scans. They're really dark and muddy.
Yeah, that center one is the one you just showed us
Right.
before,
So
right? Yeah.
if you see this one here, you'll see this. It was an app on my phone that was doing the colorization.
Uh-huh.
It's called, I can't remember the name of it now. It's a popular one for doing it. It's not perfect, but it does a good job. But I'm going to bring it in Photoshop, and I'm going to actually do it the hard way, the right way, by hand.
Good.
I like restoring old images, that are wrinkled and ripped and torn, and bringing them back to life. I did a bunch of family ones that way. So, but yeah, that's that. All right, that's why I wanted to make sure that I could do that.
Good, yeah, interesting.
Because sometimes I don't want to be seen, because my hair's sticking up all different ways.
We appreciate that, Sean.
I just want to close off. On the website, you have the rules and some examples. Do you have a link on there to YouTube, Sean?
I could share it in chat. Hold on a second.
It'd be good if you could put the YouTube link on the sbsphoto.org.
See here.
And then Linda.
We don't want the YouTube link on the website.
Yeah, is it on the website?
Yeah, you can have YouTube. Yeah, if you go to our YouTube page channel, you won't see anything that's not publicly shared. I mean, it's there if you know the link to it, but it's not going to show up in the list of videos like or speakers.
So you would show, like the competitions you would show, but the presentations you,
Right, presentations, I make them not public. I mean,
okay,
there, as long as you have a link to it, you can get to it, but if you don't have a link, you wouldn't know it's there.
right.
Because
Okay.
I don't want, you know, I feel it's it's the work, you know, of the presenter, and I don't want to step
No,
in
absolutely.
copyright issues.
Right, and we've paid for that, and it's, you know, really not, it's wrong. I mean, I've had, you know, other people say, well, can our club, you know, just share it or do it? And my position was, you know, hey, these, you know, I don't want to share it for free, because right now, a lot of these photographers were making their living during COVID doing these presentations.
Right.
So it's only fair.
Anyway,
Gotta be a member.
Oops.
so there's Linda's got a good write-up with lots of good tips and focus about photo essays. If you go online and Google photo essays, you're going to find all kinds of topic suggestions about different things you can do for photo essays. And also, if you have a problem or you need encouragement or anything, drop me an email or give me a call on my cell phone. That's the number. And, you know, in the past, I've actually gone over to people's houses to help them figure out how to download their photo essay to save it and that sort of thing. So I'm more than happy to help in anything you need to do this and walk you through. I use Photo Magico, so I know that pretty well.
Right.
I could help with that if you need. I tried Lightroom today, actually. My Lightroom won't, when I go to the slideshow module, it won't load the video. So you can't save it to video. So I'm not going to be much help with Lightroom because I don't think it works. So I would encourage something else for a slideshow.
Has anybody tried Premiere Rush, the one that comes with the Adobe photography plan?
No,
No,
that's new. That they just brought that out.
Well, it's been out, but you couldn't, the one that comes with the plan, you couldn't save but three videos. Now you can
Really?
save. Yeah. It's been there for a while. I looked at it. I haven't really used it a whole lot though.
Yeah, there's another good free one called DaVinci Resolve. And a lot of people think that's good, but that's a video editing program.
Yeah. I downloaded that one. It's not near as intuitive as the other ones I've tried. Could be just me, I'm not sure.
Well, once you get into heavy duty video editing, it's not, unless you really know it, it's tough to do.
Yeah.
It can get real. I did a bunch of videos this summer for my wife's garden club, virtual garden tours. It was crashed my computer. It got so complicated. It was driving me nuts. So that's not fun. If my wife wasn't involved, I would have blown off the whole thing. So anyway, if I can help, let me know. Oops. All right. Well,
okay,
so it's not Mark Bowie. I'm sorry.
no,
Well, thank you, Dal. I think it was educational for all of us.
Well, I hope some folks it's a lot of fun to do. I love doing these things. So, you know.
I think, you know, we will get Mark, and I don't know if you all saw the email, and I assume you did, but he has family in Kentucky that I think they were flying down and
Oh, wow.
bringing, I think, his mother-in-law for one back to New York at some point, but he didn't know what his schedule was going to be. I asked if he could switch with Ian Plant. I said, before I ask Ian, do you think you can do the 29th? And he wasn't even sure he would be back by then. So, you know, I said, well, we'll do it next year and we'll figure something out. It might not be a Wednesday because we're pretty well booked, but we'll squeeze him in somehow because I'd love to see the presentation. And I don't know if you've seen his email, but he just did a whole
Right.
a tutorial on forests, photographing forests. And in it is, he said, like 2.5 hours of post-processing. And for me, I'm saying it's worth the price just for that, because I'd love to see his post-processing. I don't know a lot about, I know he uses luminosity masking and things like that, but you know, I'm probably going to get that program just to see the post-processing, because I have seen the forest presentation and it is excellent. I mean, Mark's images are just, they're always stunning and always inspiring. So we'll get him back.
Good.
So for those who celebrate, I wish you a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you before the year is up, because we'll see you on the 29th.
Yeah, for sure. Ian Plantett's terrific. I saw his presentation he did for us and went out and bought his composition program, which is very good, very, very
Yeah.
good. So that would look forward to the 29th. And with that,
Hopefully I get the new Z9 for Christmas.
the Z9 for Christmas.
Oh,
We'll take up a collection in a club for you, Sean.
Or the Mavic, you know, Mavic 3 Sin, which is only 6,000.
Oh yeah, you can do that too.
It's only like 6,000.
hey, Sean, what drone do you have that you've been using
I
lately?
have a Mavic Mini 2, I have a Mavic Air, and a Mavic Air 2.
Okay, I was looking at those. I was thinking of getting them. I'm not sure though. Seems like there's a lot of regulations to follow.
Get the Air 2S, and then you go to the FFA. Well, I can give you a link. It's not the FFA website, but you got to take the trust certification, which is basically you can't fail it because it's just keep guessing until you get it right. It's just basically so you know some of the basic, you know, safety rules and stuff.
And you got to get clearance to fly in places like.
Not everywhere, only in the capital district.
Well, okay, well.
that's easy to do too. I can show you how to do that. So,
There's an app where you can do that, right? That
right.
links into the, yeah.
You're flying within five miles of the Albany International Airport. It's controlled airspace, and you use an app. You can use what's called the LAANC, LAANC. It's a automated network. You just go in. There's several apps to do it in. Put in where you want to fly, how long you want to fly, how high you want to go, and if it meets all their criteria, you'll get a text back almost instantly saying you're approved for this time frame, for this, you know, and you fly. If you keep getting rejected because you're doing too high, you just keep reducing, you know, and you put in, and they'll just keep reducing. Like for instance, I wanted to fly one time. I wanted to go 300 feet. I kind of knew looking at the map that was sort of the ceiling, but for some reason they wouldn't give me 300, so I went down to 200 and they took it. So,
Did
but
they tell you why you're rejected?
no,
They don't.
You can pretty much guess by looking at it. You once you get used to it. If you want to fly in the Schenectady area, you have a different problem. You have the Schenectady airport to deal with, and that's integrated into the LAANC network. So you have to actually, if you want to fly in Schenectady, you actually have to go online to the FFA website and put in a request to fly in this particular area, longitude and latitude, how far, how wide an area, half a mile or so, and how high you want to go, or when you want to do it. And it takes a few days to get a reply back. And I've never been rejected. Usually if I ask for too much, they will adjust it and say, well, you can't go a mile, but we'll let you go 3/4 of a mile. Or you can't go 200 feet, but we'll let you go 100 feet. And the beauty of that is it's not like the LAANC system, which gives you like a half hour, an hour, you know, or 2 hours right then and there. You can have this for an entire year. So I've had LAANC waivers or flight waivers that covered around my house for a year. Central Park, I get waivers over there. I get for the whole year. The Schenectady golf course, I do that for a year. Things of that nature. Usually, I try to get a year. That way, I don't have to think about it. You know.
And it's for the whole county?
No, it's just,
Whole of Schenectady County, you have to go through the website?
anything within 5 miles of Schenectady Airport.
The airport, okay.
like for instance, over my house right now, because the airport's only a couple miles away, I can only go 100 feet.
Hmm.
And
But you can't fly over people, so how can you fly over a neighborhood?
well, those I don't fly over a person. I can fly over a house or a yard or in the street as long as there's no cars moving. It's only moving vehicles,
Okay.
people. But I don't fly over people usually, or moving cars, moving boats. Yeah, but
When you don't get caught, right?
yeah, and it's like the only reason I fly over my house is I use it because I want to fly and check out my gutters and things of that nature, my roof.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's a good idea.
There you go.
And just a word of warning: you cannot do that unless you have a Part 107 license. Even though it's your own house and your own gutters, you're only doing it to check your house out, it's not considered recreational flight.
Okay.
It's a commercial flight because the whole thing behind flying it when you take off with flying with a drone is that it's not about whether or not you're making money on it. It's about intent. And by flying up and looking at my gutters, I'm benefiting. So that's intent. That's commercial. If I just throw the drone up and I'm just flying around, not caring what I'm doing, have no intent of using the images for anything, not trying to get any information out of it. And then a week later, I look at the footage and go, oh, wow, that's a pretty good picture. I think I'm going to share that or use that. I can do that because at the time of the flight, my intent was not to use those images for anything. It's very gray and fine line. It's very hard for people sometimes to grasp. But yeah, I can give a whole 2-hour seminar on this.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube
Basics.
video and they said a lot of the same things you're saying.
Maybe next year I'll do a drone presentation.
There you go.
That'd be interesting.
Really,
Yeah.
I'd be real interested.
I know we had somebody come in and do that when we were meeting in person once, but I don't quite remember what they went through. They were flying the drone in the room. I can fly it in front of my monitor here and I can hover. I have little ones too. I have little toy, the toy ones. But it also has to do with weight, whether you need to trust or license. It has to be 0.55 pounds or less. You
250
really
grams,
need
right?
to register it. And if it's 0.55 pounds or over, then you have to register. It's $5 for 2 years or something like that. 3 years. It's really expensive. You have a number. You got to put the number on the drone. Now they're coming out next in a couple of years to be requiring now. It's called remote ID. So all new drones will have this built into it, and older drones will have to get a module to put on their drone. Basically, it'll broadcast a remote ID that's tied to you and the drone, so that the police can and anybody can say, "Oh, look, that drone belongs to him, and he's over there." And I can go over there. I'm going to shoot him because I don't like drones. So big controversy over that.
Is that transmitter regardless of weight, or is it just above half a pound?
Yep, it's anything but it'll be. Well, I think it's. Now I think it has to be everything. Yeah, I think it's 0.55 and above. I'm not sure. I have to double check that. But that's the big controversy. No one really cares if they can track the drone. And it wouldn't be a big problem if it was encrypted and only law enforcement could actually access that information live. But because it's not, anybody, there'll definitely be apps people are going to be downloading that will say, okay, I know what this drone is annoying me, and I know where the person who's flying it is. I'm going to go over there and confront him.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what the big hoopla right now in the industry and for all drone pilots is like. There are crazies out there who for some reason think drones is invading their world, and they will seek out people. And so you don't want to give them any more information than you need to. Because people follow drones back to you. That happened a lot. It's not like it happens every time I go. I've never actually had that happen to me. Most of the time people come up to me about drones, they're just curious. Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh.
We're trying to break down my door.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
like Rich takes a risk when he does his street photography. So I
That's
guess
right.
Same thing.
Right.
Street photography
It's
is
a dangerous hobby.
Yeah.
I've never really been confronted with any kind of real threat. So
Mm. Well, you've never had anybody try to shoot your camera at you, Andrew.
No,
We'll try to shoot.
they'll usually just drop it.
Shoot the drone down.
People try to shoot drones down. Matter of fact, there was a guy just arrested recently, just got charged finally federally about a month and a half ago and for shooting down a police drone.
Ooh, okay, that's nasty.
It's a federal crime to shoot at the drone. It's an aircraft. It's just considered the same thing as a 747. You don't shoot at them. You don't interfere with them. You know, it's interfering with an aircraft, and it carries the same federal penalties. She said no one's ever actually been federally charged with anything yet. This is the first time. Usually they get you on disorderly conduct, destruction of property, things of that nature. But and you can sue the people and get your money back. But I don't want my $800 drone shot out of the sky.
Well, I think next year, if we ever get, well, just one of our regular events, we ought to do a drone program.
Yeah,
That'd be great. I'd like that.
I can put something together.
Good.
And maybe in the summer we can do a demo thing, you know?
Yeah.
Always
All right.
do that.
Okay,
That it?
folks. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Oh, don't you want to drone on?
Orange.
Now we know it's time to go.
Now it's
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Hey,
Right.
Rich, you tried to wing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I was getting a buzz.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a good Christmas.
Stay well.
Everybody,
Yeah,
Merry
thank
Christmas,
you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Holidays.
Take care.
Stay well.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good
Don.
night.
Night all.
Night, everybody.